Hey guys, welcome to Reaper's review. This is basically the mega review of all of 2013. These are all the movies I've seen last year, and I did not get to do a review for all of them except for Fast and Furious. Some of these movies I did edit reviews, but I said I'm gonna just put them all into one review and just discard it, except for the Fast and Furious one because I like the way I edited that one. I liked the way I edited a few of those videos, but I'm just gonna keep that one separate and just throw it in there because I enjoyed the way it was edited, so I was happy with it. But anyways, we're going to move on. We're going to start off with the movies that I seen last year. The Wolverine. Worst movie of the year. Hands down. I had friends that saw it. Fell asleep during the movie. Couldn't stay awake. And the whole movie was garbage, slow paced. Basically dumped on Wolverine and who he was as a character. Disregarded the fact that he has a high regard for people who have honor. And he has honor himself. Disregarded the fact that he speaks multiple languages. Being Japanese, German, French, Spanish. I don't know if that's Spanish from Spain or Spanish from North America. He speaks Russian, French. This guy speaks multiple languages, and yet they disregard the fact that he speaks multiple languages. Even at the end of X-Men Origins, there was two different endings. One ending being Deadpool grabbing his head and his eyes opening up. The second ending was him going to Japan.
R.I.P.D.
American?
Canadian, I think.
なんで忘れたいことでも?
No. I'm drinking to remember.
And so, if you can remember that, how is he going to go to Japan now and go, I don't know what the hell you're saying. That's bullshit. 2, the fact that the Silver Samurai is now a warmonger type villain. He is a guy, an old man in an Iron Man kind of suit made out of adamantium. Give me a break. Okay, first of all, adamantium. The fact that there's only a limited supply of adamantium, enough for Wolverine to cover his bones in adamantium, enough for Lady Deathstrike to get some so she can get her fingers into adamantium. 3, enough to get X-23, Wolverine's clone, adamantium laced. And then, depending on which comic book version of Captain America's shield you prefer, the Ultimate Avengers Captain America's shield is laced with adamantium and vibranium, so it could be indestructible. So the fact that they had all that going, and plus there was enough adamantium left for basically to get Dakin, Wolverine's son, laced with adamantium, but it was interrupted or stopped by Wolverine. Depends on where you see it and whose point of view you see it as, why he didn't get the Wolverine, the adamantium laced to his body. So the fact that there was so much adamantium for that suit to be happening, come on. 2, how is it that they want to go around and say, oh, adamantium could only destroy adamantium? Come on, give me a break. If that was true, then Lady Deathstrike would have been able to broken every adamantium part of Wolverine's body easily. Cut that bullshit out. Give me a break. That's garbage. That's what you want to do just to make it easier to do what you want to do. Shoot him in the head with 2 adamantium bullets, and his memory is lost. That was garbage right there. Because there's no telltale in the X-ray, which everybody knows about. And 2, it heals. His brain heals. The way that he got his memory wiped was basically a la Jason Bourne. The exact same way. He was through vigorous memory wiping and memory introduction that basically his brain just became scrambled and didn't know which memory to believe and which was fake, and his brain became just screwed up. So that was my take on the Wolverine. The only justifying and the only redeeming quality of the movie was the end credits scenes. The one where they show that the X-Men Days of Future Past and the whole X-Men 4, what's going to be going on. That's what I thought of that one. Next up, we are going to be talking about the Man of Steel. Best movie of the Superman franchise that we've seen so far. And definitely one of the best movies I've seen last year. Zack Snyder did an amazing job. If you don't know any of Zack Snyder's work, you might have watched it, not known it. Dawn of the Dead, the Sucker Punch movie, Watchmen, and for anybody who has kids, Legends of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. Now, with any of those movies, you can see why he was elected to do the Superman movie. He has great visual style. He could tell a story and give you great visuals. So, there was no reason for me to deny that. When I heard Zack Snyder was on board to do this movie, I was all for it and was happy for it. I wasn't happy that they were going with the new 52 costume, but you know what? This their property. That's what it is. I do miss the Superman cape with the S on the back, and you know that's just me. But all in all, the movie was definitely satisfactory. The little Lex Luthor, Cork, logo on the truck. You got the Wayne logo on the satellite out in space. Those were pretty cool little nods. The whole opening sequence where you can see more of Krypton and what went on in Zod's uprising and all of that going on up to Superman being banished to Earth or rescued, saved, basically thrown to Earth, shot into space to go to Earth to be saved, and his whole family and race being destroyed was pretty awesome. We don't get the whole kneel before Zod moment that we all know and love from Superman 2.
Kneel before Zod!
And that, I was kind of hoping for that, Inside I was like, come on, we got to get that. We have to get a kneel before Zod. We didn't get that, and, I had to watch the original Superman 2 just to get the kneel before me, right? And, but all in all, the movie was pretty good. I guess Zod's only memorable line was, I will find him! I will find him! Like, that's your line? That's it? Come on. So, that was that one. And then, the one thing I did not like about that movie was Superman killing. Superman does not kill. I don't care who you are. Superman does not kill. That's not who he is as a character. And to prove that, Superman versus the Elite. I did a movie review on this before. I will link that in this this description. But yes, Superman versus the Elite basically asks the question: is Superman relevant in this time and era, where his morals and his beliefs are they something that we could stand by? And it shows that Superman was tested on whether he is relevant or not, and he proved that what he believes in and his beliefs and his rules and everything still works to this day. Because he didn't kill any of them, but he pushed to where everybody thought he did, and they did not like what they saw in Superman. They were all scared. But he proved that nobody should kill, no matter what. And when they had him kill Zod, that pissed me off. I felt like I was just shitted on, slapped in the face. I was utterly pissed about that. Superman does not kill. He would have found a way to do it, but him killing destroys the whole fact that Superman does not kill. That's who he is. As a hero, he is not a person who kills. That's where I stand on it. Leave a comment below on any of the things I talk about, and I'll read them, and I'll talk about them in the next topic, and next review. I'll just do a video of what you guys commented on, and I'll read your comment out loud, and we'll see what goes on. But our next movie review is going to be The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, another amazing movie. If you read the books, it was pretty good. They definitely left some key stuff that I wish they would have left in there. They wouldn't have made that movie that much longer. Maybe like another 6-8 more minutes longer. But all in all, the movie was definitely satisfactory. I liked what they did with the first one. Definitely liked the second one. Not a big fan of them cutting it into 2 parts to make more money. It just is just. I just find it really laughable. If Peter Jackson could make the Lord of the Rings movies into one movie, really long movie, and prove that people will sit their butts in the theater and watch every single one of them multiple times, then you can do a long movie from a book and make a killing. And I'm not saying that anybody can do it. You have to do the movie justice, like Peter Jackson did with the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Rings. I read the first Fellowship of the Rings. He took a lot of boring stuff. I was falling asleep reading that book. He took a lot of boring stuff, but he kept a lot of the key stuff in it. And you know what? I'm not going to say that he did a horrible job. He did an amazing job. So my hat's off to Peter Jackson and what he did with these franchises. And I know The Hobbit was just one book, but from what I've heard and what he said, that there's extra stuff at the end of the Return of the King that Professor Tolkien had put in there that I guess wanted to finish up or top loose ends that were in The Hobbit. He took that stuff and put that into the movie. And he did change a few things in The Hobbit that he said that he did change to add a little bit more suspense to it. But all in all, I think if Professor Tolkien was alive today, would definitely be pleased and definitely be one of the first people to say, thank you, you did my book justice and you did an amazing job. So that's where I stand on that one, and that's where I stand on this one. That movie was amazing. Saw it in the IMAX. And this was Desolation of Smog. And can't wait to see the next one. And definitely can't wait. It's going to be one of the saddest endings in the franchise, of course. But all in all, definitely a good movie. Next up we're going to be talking about is Elysium. Definitely a brilliant cast. So we had Jodie Foster, Matt Damon, Charlton Copley, Alice Braga, Diego Luna, And then you have Neil Blomkamp doing the directing. The only reason I wanted to see this movie was because of the director alone, first of all. Because he did an amazing job with District 9. And then I saw who got cast into the movie. And I was like, I'm definitely going to go see it. Then when I first saw the trailer, I was like, I'm so there opening night. Visual-wise, amazing. I mean, visually, he did an amazing job with District 9. You cannot deny him that. Then you have Charlton Copley playing the bad guy. And a lot of you know him from District 9. He played, Quivitz, where he's like this nerdy, goofy guy. And then he went to the A-Team. And he played a screwball military guy. And then he goes into this one where he's a psychotic military guy. He can play each one of the roles very well, and he's going to have staying power in Hollywood. Matt Damon is another credible actor. He did an amazing job. Then you have Alice Braga from Predators. She comes in and she did a really good job. She plays Matt Damon's childhood friend who's all grown up now, and she has her life going for her very well. Matt Damon was an ex-con, and things didn't go well his way. And Diego Luna is from Y Tu Mamá También, and he did a few other films, and he's basically one of the people that works with Matt Damon, or ran along with Matt Damon. And things just don't go right, and he ends up asking his friend for help. But all in all, you have Jodie Foster, another amazing actress, in her first film where she dies, and Charlton Copley gets that that honor to kill her off in the film. And it's pretty amazing though. Some actors are saying, yeah, kill me off. You know what? People won't expect it. Now, you know what? That's more amazing. But all in all, that movie was definitely an amazing movie, visual wise, soundtrack wise, special effects, everything. They did an amazing job. I applaud them, and I like what they did with the whole movie, especially the whole parole office scene where they're waiting in this big old office, and instead of speaking to a person, they're speaking to a robot, and it's just you're sitting there like. You're frustrated, but you can't talk back because the robot's like, well, how about the sedative? How about, it's like, come on, it's not going to get you anywhere, and it just sucks. But that's what I think of the movie, and the movie was amazing, freaking phenomenal. Our next up is R.I.P.D. This movie was a good movie. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. And like my mom said, it's definitely similar to Men in Black, and yes, it is. The only difference is, instead of aliens, it's dead people. Instead of the agents being alive, they're dead as well. So that's the only difference. The movie was pretty good. The CGI could have been way better. Kevin Bacon is in the movie. He did a really good job. Ryan Reynolds, he has a hit or miss in certain movies, and it depends on what you think of Ryan Reynolds, whether you're going to see this movie or not. That's where I stand on it. It's whether you can stand Ryan Reynolds, pretty much. I think that's where it stands with this movie. Jeff Bridges did an amazing job. Destroyed this role. But then again, with Jeff Bridges, he has a plethora of roles that he just dominated in. Like The Big Lebowski. And then you have True Grit. Then you have this. And then you have Tron, the original. And then the sequel. And then if you go back and you watch Blown Away, where he's with Tommy Lee Jones. This guy has acting skills coming out of his ass. And it's just like he has plenty to spare. So, good for him. He can do anything. He can do it all, basically. He can do it all. And I will throw money. I'll pay to watch any movie he's in, because he could do it. He's an amazing actor. And then you had Mary Louise Parker, who was in the client who played Brad Redfield's mother in the movie. And she's basically, she's an agent as well. And she does an amazing job. This is her second comic book movie. And she has great comedic timing. She had her own TV show, Weeds. So basically, with her, she's definitely gotten, her own following of fans. And, my hat's off to her. She's definitely come up a long way, from The Client, Fried Green Tomatoes, going up and doing some other films. And, she might not have been in the limelight as much as some of the other actors, but you know what? She definitely can hold her own with these big hats and these guys who have been around for a long time and been in the limelight a lot longer. And I've never read the comics, so I can't really base it on my like for the comic book. So if you've read the comics, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the comic book versus the movie, and what were the differences and the similarities, and what did they do wrong. I would like to know this. And we will definitely I will definitely talk about that as well. But as far as the movie point of view, it was alright. Wasn't that bad. I wish I read the comics so I could tell you how it fared against the comic books. But that's where I stand on it. Next up is Riddick, the movie, the third movie in the Pitch Black series. The movie was okay, wasn't great. Better than the second one, almost as good as the first one. Definitely goes back to the first one, to its roots. They did change a few things of him. Now he has a pet, and they had John's father come in and basically ask the question of what happened on that planet. And yeah, it's a little game of cat and mouse, and I don't know. It could have been better, but it was fun. For anybody who watches this movie, you have to be a big fan of the series and the games and Vin Diesel to watch this movie. For some people, this is going to be a guilty pleasure and just watch it. Trust me, a lot of you guys are going to like this movie. It's a hit or miss. Sci-fi people might like it. So I'd say about 50% might like this movie, 50% might not like it. And that's just, I'm just being, saying maybe generous, maybe not generous. I'm just saying that's what I believe. But, leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it if you guys seen it. Please, I would like to know what you guys thought as well. Next up review is Taken 2. That movie was okay. The sequel was, I think, not the sequel we were expecting. It was a good movie. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was just alright, And if you went there with high expectations, you're like, that movie was garbage. It was horrible. I did like the fact what they did with the daughter. They didn't make her an ultimate badass, She definitely, they show her struggling with, what happened in the first one. And then her trying to, get control of her life and trying to come back and, help her parents after what had happened. Them being kidnapped and all that. But, I don't know, the movie was alright, I doubt they're going to get a third one. It's done by Luc Besson, who's done a series of movies. He brought us The Fifth Element, Leon the Professional. He brought us that movie with Guy Pearce and, of course, the girl from Taken. What is that movie called? The opening sequence was so horrible. It was the Gel in Space. I can't remember the name of the movie, but that movie was garbage. They had a lot of cool moments in there that were pretty funny, but I thought the movie could have been better. Way better. But Luc Besson has definitely got a lot of hits under his belt and a lot of misses. La Femme Nikita is one of them. He also brought us Kiss of the Dragon. I go to movies and I watch a movie that he's done. District B13 and Brick House, the American remake, was also his as well. So those are movies that he has brought us American film goers, and as well as the foreign film goers. And yeah, I'm happy with his body of work, and I can't say that all of his movies were hits, but so far he has done some great movies. Next up, our movie review is going to be talking about Pacific Rim. This movie was an amazing movie. Guillermo del Toro, you might know him from Hellboy 2, Blade 2. This guy has done an amazing job visually, like in Pan's Labyrinth, The Devil's Backbone. And Guillermo del Toro is more of a visual director. He does great storytelling, but he's very hands-on with the visual and gives you great visuals. So I can't say any bad thing about his visual style because I love it. And when you want a dark storytelling movie, he will give it to you. He did Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I watched it. I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but you know what? It was definitely a good movie visually. It was stunning. He was going to do The Hobbit, and if he did The Hobbit, it would have been a lot darker tone than what Peter Jackson did. But he didn't do it because there was a lot of stop and go, and then he got called to do Pacific Rim. This movie was an amazing movie on so many levels. One, he definitely, in the end credits, he pays homage to Akira Honda, who brought us I believe that's what it is, brought us Godzilla, the first director of Godzilla. He paid homage to him and Ray Harryhausen. And if any of you guys don't know who Ray Harryhausen is, I ask you to go check out Clash of the Titans or Jason the Argonauts, Sinbad and the Seventh Voyage, those old school classic movies, because he's the one that brought us a stop motion character and gave us those old school movies, and those movies were amazing. I still like watching those to this day because they're fun to watch, and I don't know, I still enjoy them. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but I love it. But yeah, he pays homage to them, and from when I heard that he knows how to talk to his artists that do the CGI. He knows how to talk to them on their language, use their language, and tell them what needs to be done so he get what he wants properly. But he knows how to talk to them nicely and he treats them with respect that they deserve. And that's the kind of director you need directing your film for that. And visually stunning movie, great monsters, great action sequences. All in all, this movie was definitely an amazing movie. I don't know if we're going to get a sequel. I would like to see a sequel, but I doubt we're going to get a sequel. This movie seems like it's going to be a standalone movie. So all in all, this movie was an amazing movie. Saw in IMAX. And yes, this movie was in 3D. And it was an amazing movie. Definitely one to watch and one to own. So if you've not seen this movie, please check it out. If you have, leave a comment below. Any of this video that you've watched, leave a comment below, please. I would like to know your thoughts on any of these movies that I have reviewed and seen. And tell me what you thought and liked or did not like, and what you thought was pretty cool in any of these movies. And like I said before, I will definitely do a video on the comments that you leave below. I promise you I will. I will not, ignore any of your guys' comments, good or bad. Next up reviewing is Star Trek II Into Darkness. This movie was an amazing movie. Saw this in IMAX 3D as well. As you can see, I see most of my movies in IMAX. If, it's in IMAX. This was definitely an amazing movie. Great casting job. You had Peter Weller. You had Benedict Cumberbatch. Both of those did an amazing job. Benedict Cumberbatch was an inspiring pick to play Khan. Now, from the original Khan, there's a lot of differences, of course, because it's a different timeline and Christian at a different time in his character's life. And, of course, the movie is almost, they had great similarities from the original movie. The one similarity was, instead of Captain Kirk yelling out, Khan! It was Spock in this revamp. Also, in the ending, it was totally different. The ending was Spock was in there dying, and Captain Kirk came there and seen him dying. Now, I remember this movie a lot because my mom watched it with my uncles and her brothers, and the ending was him in a casket, and my uncle blurted out, "Oh, it's Spock in a box," and she told me that, and I can't help but giggle every time I see the casket scene. I know it's not supposed to be funny, but all I can hear is Spock in a box. And now in the new revamped version, instead of Spock being in there, it's Captain Kirk who risks his life to save his team members, and Spock is the one who's there, missing his friend and feeling the pain that he would feel from somebody dying, somebody he cared about and respected. So the different similarities, the different scenes there were pretty awesome. And here we're gonna show them back to back. Here, check it out right now.
Buried alive. Buried alive.
Spock!
Ship. Out of danger.
Yes.
Don't grieve, Admiral. Just logical. The needs of the many outweigh
the needs of the few.
or the one. I never took the Kobayashi Maru test. Until now. What do you think of my solution? Spock. I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
So yeah, so those were the scenes that were there. Those movies were pretty amazing. Don't get me wrong, for their time. You know, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Don't hold that against me. I love Star Trek. I grew up watching Star Trek. Then I found out what Star Wars was, and I loved Star Wars. But I don't hate Star Trek in any way. I love the Star Trek. I love the original. I don't follow the Star Trek after the original. After Captain Kirk, that was it. I was done. I didn't follow it as much. But all in all, I definitely like what they've done. I don't know how it's going to be in the third one since it's not J.J. Abrams anymore. But yeah, this movie was freaking phenomenal. I give this 50 thumbs up if I could, but 2 thumbs up. Next movie reviewing, the final one that I've seen last year was This Is the End. Saw this movie 3 times in the theaters. This movie was freaking hilarious. Great cast because they're all friends and they worked very well together. Good storyline. It's the end of the world, the apocalypse. There's their own little spin on it. And if you're not a big fan of their brand of humor, stay away from this movie. But if you are, watch it, check it out. See it as many times as you want. Buy the movie, because this movie is worth buying and worth watching more than once. But yeah, all in all, this movie was definitely a hilarious movie. I could not stop laughing from beginning to end, and it was definitely enjoyable. And Yeah, I mean, great casting job. And then you had Paul Rudd for cameo appearance. You had Channing Tatum for cameo appearance. Michael Cera, Rihanna, Emma Watson. I mean, the list goes on of these cameos, and I find it pretty amazing. I love the little cameo appearances they had from fellow comedians and other actors. So all in all, this movie was definitely worth watching and amazing. So like I said before, hit that like button, leave a comment below, subscribe, have more reviews, more unboxings and gaming footage coming up. And I'll be seeing you guys around. I'm Grim Reaper. See you guys later.